Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sisterly. You're here with your co-hosts, Rebecca and Olivia, and we are so excited to be back with you. Today, we want to talk about one of our favorite things to talk about, which is pop culture.
Yeah, we're kind of like switching up the vibe a little bit, talking about what's going on in mainly entertainment.
Yeah.
But for those of you who have listened before or who know us, you know that we love pop culture. And today I was hanging out with my boyfriend and his parents because we were celebrating Mother's Day. And it was funny because we were watching the new show. Oh, it's not even that new. The Dropout, the one with Amanda Seyfried.
Oh, I still want to see that.
We just watched the first episode, and so there's just this one of the actors, I can't remember what his name is, but he's like in the lab with her, and Jack was like, "Where do I know him from?" And I was like, "Oh, well, he's in Pitch Perfect and he's in The Mindy Project." And like
Oh, yeah.
and they were just like joking about how I like know so much
That is
like
like my
random info.
go-to bit is like we're watching something and I have to tell everyone where all the actors
Yeah.
they know them from.
And I was like, "I only know things about pop culture." I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's what I know."
I
And
know.
that's pretty much
Whenever
it.
I go to, like, trivia, I'm like, I'm good for all the entertainment stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
like, "You need to know stuff about, like, history, like, sports. I cannot help you."
Yeah, I'm like, "You if there's a question about the Kardashians, like, put me in, coach.
Yeah, I'm ready to
I'm
win.
ready to play." So
And whenever we have you ever played that game? Well, you've played that game. Listeners, have you ever played that game where it's like that I think Ellen owns it. It's like, what's it
heads
called?
up,
Heads Up.
heads
Yeah,
up.
I love that, especially
Rebecca
the
and I are
one that's like
great
that
at the pop culture
we
one.
are so good at the pop culture one or the song one
So good at
or
that
like
one,
the
yeah.
pop star one. Any of those, we crush it. And we especially
Yep,
crush it when we play together because we each know the same weird niche thing. So we'll just give each other like one clue or one like weird reference and we know
yep.
exactly what we're talking
Know
about.
exactly what it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have been like, we should have worked for, like, E! News.
I know. Missed opportunity, missed opportunity.
We should be on, like, Daily Pop or whatever their, like,
Yeah.
E! News show is. Um, but alas, we're here on our podcast to talk about it instead.
So we'll give you a little preview of some of the bib bib some of the big pop culture topics that we plan to discuss at some point on this episode today. So one is the Met Gala, which occurred last week.
I know we're, like, a little late to the game, but, like, we still have to talk about it.
Yeah, because last time when we recorded, it was before the Met Gala, so we didn't get to give any of our takes.
Yeah.
So we're going to give them now. We want to talk about Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas, who finally revealed today on Instagram their little baby.
Yep.
And then
The little baby.
the baby. And then the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
Yep.
That's been big. And we have to discuss these Taylor Swift teasers and her dropping new merch in her store. And what the heck does that mean?
Yeah, and what the heck is going on?
Exactly.
So, can't wait to talk about all of that.
Cannot wait.
All right, so kicking it off with the Met Gala, we got to talk about it because we talked about it last week. Whether or not you care personally about the Met Gala, I think you should care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, like, whether or not you think it's a big deal, I think that, yeah, you should pay attention. Because I was thinking about this a lot, like, because I really care about the Met Gala, and I don't know why I care. I don't really know when I
I don't
started to
actually even know
care.
what happens at the Met Gala.
It's
All
like
I
a
know is like,
fundraiser.
yeah. And I think people like celebrities like perform, but it mostly is just about the fashion.
Yeah, and I would not say Rebecca and I are fashion gurus
Definitely not.
by any
The
means,
amount of clothes that I own that are from Old Navy and Forever 21 tells you all you need to know. But
but I do think that the Met Gala is important because it's like the biggest costume party of the year.
mhm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's important. I also think like there's a lot that's unsaid that's like
Mhm.
important to notice. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I just feel like if there's any sort of fashion moment that you should care about, it's the Met. And I always go back to that scene in The Devil Wears Prada when she's holding up the belts and she's
Oh,
like, "Those
yes.
belts look identical to me." And Meryl Streep goes on a
Rips
whole
her a new
rant,
one. Yeah.
yeah, about how like the decisions that were made about this belts like affect everyone at every level and like
Mhm.
even her like knockoff cheap blue sweater. Like,
Mhm.
I do think that a lot of our lives are personally affected by larger decisions made in fashion, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
And so while I don't think it's important that we all watch runway shows, I do think that, like, it does trickle down. So I like to kind of be in the know.
Mhm.
I like to sometimes I like to know who the designers are. Does it really matter? No. But
Yeah.
I also like fashion. So I'm not like
Yeah.
a guru, but I like fashion?
No, I agree. I find it really interesting. And then there are some people who always really crush it.
Right.
And then there's always
Mhm.
like some new people each year. There's like your regulars. As we said on last episode, the most frustrating thing is when people don't dress for the theme. I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't really care like if your outfit is like quote good or bad or like it's more so just like does it pay any sort of homage to what the theme of the event is? And when it doesn't, I'm like, why? What are you doing? But
Right. I also get frustrated when people go to the Met Gala and they don't know anything about the inspiration or the design of their dresses or their suits because
right.
I'm like, you don't really deserve to be here then. Like, if
Yeah.
you're not paying attention at all to what you're wearing, why are you
It's
here?
kind of
Like, this
wasted
event
on
is for
you.
people who care about fashion.
Yeah.
So,
One of the ultimate queens of the Met Gala is Blake Lively.
yeah, I mean,
This year she
she's
was
a
also a
legend.
co-host. She's a
Yeah.
legend. She has so many good looks at the Met Gala,
She always
and
matches the carpet.
she matches the carpet. I don't know if that's like she's in good with Anna Wintour and she lets her know what the carpet's gonna be and she coordinates, or if that's just like luck, but she never misses. And her dress at the Met Gala this year was really cool because it was inspired by New York City architecture. So like the pattern on her corset was like from the Empire State Building. And then her whole train, like first there was like a dress transformation halfway through her walk up the stairs, but it went from copper to green and basically was inspired by the Statue of Liberty, which used to be copper, but now is green because of like what happens like chemically to it, like after time. And then the train of her dress had all the constellations that are on the ceiling of Grand Central Station.
Mhm.
And I just thought that that was so
And
cool.
I saw another video to take it a step further. Um, the Statue of Liberty has 8 spikes on her crown to represent the
Hmm.
7 continents, just like the crown that Blake Lively wore. It had
Hmm.
7 continents, and then I think it also had, like, a certain number of gems.
Yeah, to represent like a certain number of windows in like uh either in the Statue of Liberty crown or something. I don't know. Like it was
Yeah,
like after something.
and also, Blake knew all of this. She shared it all in her red carpet interview. Like, she was
Hmm.
very much aware of
She looked
the
so regal.
inspiration behind the dress, which I thought was amazing. Also, I wanna take a step back to the importance of the dress matching the carpet, and I say this because it takes me back to a very specific time when I was in college and I was rushing for a sorority, and the sorority I ended up being in, I hated them the first day, and the reason why was I walked up to this house, and the girls were doing their creepy sing-song dance thing. They were wearing purple dresses, like a deep plum, and the house was blue. And I was like, "You look crazy, okay? You have, like, a medium-toned blue house, and you're wearing plum dresses. You don't match the house, you look insane." And it stuck with me so strongly that eventually I ended up being on, like, our leadership board for my sorority, and I was like, "Listen, you guys, the colors we pick are very important. If we don't match the house, I don't wanna hear it. Like, we gotta match the house. This is ridiculous. Like, we got a blue house. Don't be out here wearing plum dresses." Anywho, it's incredibly important. It makes a statement. So all I'm saying is if you show up in a dress that clashes with the carpet, everyone's gonna know.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna know. They're gonna take note. Anywho, back to the Met Gala. Blake crushed it. We're not gonna sit here and go through all of the looks because we're not fashion experts.
And to be honest, this year I was not
Lackluster.
impressed by a lot of them. A lot of them were not on theme whatsoever. So there weren't that many standouts.
And also a lot of people take, like, very, like, large creative liberties, being like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, it connected in this vague way," and I'm like, "Listen, okay? This is for the people at home watching," and people are like, "Oh, if you don't understand art and fashion, like, that's your problem." No, it's not. It's your problem if we don't understand because all of you are famous because of us at home looking at your red carpet looks. So if we don't get it at home, that's your fault, not our fault, okay? Us layman's over here are the ones that make your careers. So, That's my rant. Thank you. And thank you so much. And there were a couple that I liked. I thought Emma Chamberlain, for people who know who that is, she looked really good. She's a YouTuber.
Is she okay, I was like, "Who is she?" I was like, "Is she a TikToker?" I wasn't sure.
She's like a fashion YouTuber. She doesn't really do like YouTube as much anymore, but she's like kind of
I saw that
created.
viral video of Jack Harlow hitting on her, and he was like, "Love you," and she goes, "Love you," and then she, like, looks
Yeah.
away and, like, laughs. So funny.
She's like, what did I just say? I really
She's
like
like, "What
her.
did I say?"
She's like a very down to earth person, but she's kind of like made a career for herself in fashion.
Mm,
And so she like does the interviews on the red carpet. I also love like she's there as a YouTuber, but like she's also there working. I appreciate that. Like
yeah.
she has a job. I thought she looked great. Thought she looked on theme. Um, I actually really liked Kendall Jenner's look.
Yeah, I liked her look. I
I
don't
liked her
understand her
skirt.
the eyebrow situation, but I liked the dress.
Listen, people who
I'll
at least
never
her
understand bleached
eyebrows weren't
eyebrows.
actually bleached.
Yeah.
'Cause I saw them, I'm like, "Girl, did you really bleach your eyebrows for this?"
No, I
No.
think she's just lighten them with makeup, right?
Yeah, thank God. Thank God.
I'll just never really get that.
No, I think it doesn't make any sense to me. But I liked the skirt. I thought the skirt was
The skirt
very
was cool.
on theme.
Billie Eilish was on theme.
Loved that. I'm trying to think of other.
Taylor Hill, you know who that is? She was on theme. Her
Yes.
dress was cool.
Yes, liked that. I even thought that the Hadid sisters, like, when I learned more about what their outfits were, I th I liked them more. Like, Gigi Hadid's. Here's the problem. You had to look at hers from the back, because if you looked at hers from the back, the silhouette of her dress was very much like the silhouette of the times. So
Mm,
I think it just didn't translate as well as they wanted it to. Like, I think
yeah.
the puffer coat was supposed to be like, a modern take on an old like the older silhouette, but I just don't think it translated
Yeah.
because you had to see it from a certain angle. And I think
Yeah.
also Bella Hadid's was supposed to be I think it was supposed to be about, like, sex workers at the time.
Okay.
So I think once I learned more about them, I was like, "Okay, I see what you did here."
The other queen of the Met Gala, who unfortunately didn't get to attend this year, is Zendaya.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
crushes it every time, but she was filming, so she couldn't go.
also I was like, "Taylor Swift, are you ever gonna come back? Like, would love to see
I
that
know.
for you."
When is Taylor making her return? There was a lot of theories that she was gonna be there and that it was gonna, like, clue into, like, us to, like, what album's coming next because, like, her outfits tend to do that, but she was not there, unfortunately.
I just, like, really would have loved to.
Also, I don't understand how she manages to stay in hiding so
I think
well.
about this constantly.
She lives in New York or sometimes in LA, but I'm like,
She
how
lives
is
in
it that
LA sometimes? Where?
yeah, she has a house in LA, she has a house in New York, she has a house in Rhode Island, has a house in Tennessee, but I'm just like, how does she go for so long without being detected in public ever?
I
I'm
think
like
about yeah, constantly I think about this.
remember that time, it was like a summer where people were like, "Oh, she's being transported in and out of her hotel in suitcases?"
Yes.
I 100% believe that's true.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because nobody saw her, and I'm still like, this she still manages to do that, so I'm like, where is she? How does she
Right,
get places? Does she never go outside, or does she go outside, but she's, like, in crazy disguises and we just no one's realized, like, how is she doing this?
right.
Where is she?
I wish I could know without, like, ruining her
Right, I don't wanna
secret.
spoil it. I'm, like, down to have her keep hiding, live your life, but I'm like, how is she doing this?
Yeah. Okay, we'll continue to talk about that when we get to our Taylor Swift topic
Mhm.
because I don't wanna get too much on a tangent. I'm trying to think if there were any other looks that really blew me away from the Met Gala. It was so lackluster. Did we already said Billie Eilish, right?
Yeah, Billie was
Okay.
good. But yeah, I was very bummed that I thought that they had like I thought the theme was so good
Yeah,
and
I
they
was so
had so
excited.
much to pull from that I was like, "Really? You couldn't have done a bit more?" There were several people there from the Bridgerton show.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not the guy who plays Anthony,
I know, what the
but
heck?
um the one who plays Penelope, she wore like an outfit that was on theme.
Yeah, I love her. Nicola,
Um
love her.
Nicola, yeah, she's great. Also, she's a lot older than you think she
I know,
is.
she's, like, in her mid-30s.
Yeah, I was like, "Girl,
I
you play like a 16-year-old,
I
and
know.
here you
She's
are
also in that
being
show
older than
Dairy
me."
Girls where she plays a high schooler. Like,
Yeah,
she does not come across as mid-30s.
she
I think it's
looks
because
so
she's pretty
young.
small.
Yeah, she's so tiny. Yeah.
Um, and then there were some obvious fails of
Mm.
the Met Gala. I mean, there were just, like, so many, it's kind of hard to name. If Emily Ratajkowski. I
I
don't
don't
know if
even
you saw.
remember what her outfit was.
It was insane. She looked like she was going to Mardi Gras.
Interesting.
Um, Cara Delevingne didn't work out. Didn't
Mm.
Did you see hers?
Was her just, like, her nipples with,
Yep.
like, covers? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Didn't translate. And I'm
Yep.
not even, like, against a nude moment. It just, like, didn't work.
Yeah, it wasn't related to the theme.
Also, like, no one wants to see pasties. Like, they're not cute, you know?
Right, they're not an
They're
outfit or a
for
statement.
functionality, they're not for fashion. Like, also, if you're gonna do that, make them, like, fun, you know? Like,
Right, right.
don't make it look like you bought those at CVS and then you painted gold over them, you know?
Mhm.
Give me, like, a Versace nipple cover.
I did not get Kylie's outfit.
Oh, yeah. Um,
Later, she put a post about how it was, like, a tribute
to
to that guy
Virgil.
from
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
Virgil, and so I was like, "Alright, I'm not gonna hate on it too much
Here's
because
the thing,
you do
like,
you,"
I
but it
thought the
was
dress
just
was
not on
beautiful,
theme.
it just wasn't on theme.
Yeah.
The snapback wasn't a moment.
Yeah.
I think she wanted it to be. It wasn't. It didn't work. Kris Jenner looked good. Thought she looked
Oh,
great.
she did look good, yeah.
Kim
And then
Kardashian, like,
she's in the totally wrong era. She
once
wore a dress
again,
from the '60s.
she just uses the Met Gala as an opportunity for her to make a statement that she wants to make, and
Yeah,
I'm just, like, not here for it.
right. I was here for, like, her doing her hard launch of Pete Davidson in public,
Yes.
but I was like, "Your outfit has nothing to do with this theme, and we all know that. It's, like, not even close. You just, like, decided you wanted to wear a Marilyn Monroe dress," which, like, whatever. Pete
Also,
looked
I think,
cute.
yeah, Pete looked cute. He let her have her moment. He looked like a good Instagram boyfriend. He kinda,
Yeah,
like,
he
stepped
seemed
back.
supportive.
But I'm just also like, she thought that it was gonna be this huge moment. She's, like, wearing Marilyn Monroe's dress, and I'm like, I don't know that people really cared.
Yeah. I feel like maybe if she had saved it for an event where, like, the theme was, like, old Hollywood or, like,
Right,
'60s or something, then it would have been like, "Oh, wow, how cool," but it was just, like,
right.
so
Also,
unrelated.
when you heard about all of these crazy things that she had to do in order to wear the dress, I'm like,
I
was this worth
know.
it? Not I mean, there was the obvious, like, she was talking about how she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks to fit into the dress, and it's like, "Girl, just wear a different dress." Like,
Yeah.
that was an
And it just
option.
sends such a bad message to, like,
Such a bad message.
to people about, like, doing all of this stuff to make your body different to just fit into a dress. It's just like, that's a lot.
Also, it's just like there's a reason why celebrities get their clothes crazy tailored, right? Because like, we're
Right.
all different shapes and sizes. So, like, there's no need for you to try to physically shape your body to fit into someone else's dress. Like, there's just
Yeah.
no need. There are a million you could have any designer in the world design your dress. There's no need for this. And then it ended up not closing because once again, it wasn't the right size. So she had to wear that weird white thing behind her
Yeah, to, like, cover
to
that part of it
cover the
was
fact that
open.
it didn't fit. Also, she changed for the Met Gala at the Met Gala because she wasn't allowed to wear the dress in the car. So she got out of the car, changed there, walked the carpet, took the dress off, and put on a replica dress.
She did?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
What's the point?
What is the
What's
point?
the point?
That's a lot of effort.
And then at in the after party, she just posted about this on Instagram. She wore another one of Marilyn's dresses, which looked great on her.
Yeah.
Love that for you. And she, like, posed with her Golden Globe, and I was like, "This is weird because 'cause you're not an actress."
Yeah, I was like, "Why do you have this?"
So, like, it wasn't, like, cool, you know? It was just kinda weird. Like,
Yeah,
you're not an actress,
strange.
so, like, it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like she should have done that for, like, Halloween. Like, she should have, like
Right, just, like, dress up as her and then, like, make it a thing. I didn't really like the slicked back hair with the dress either.
no.
I was
So
like, if you're gonna go through all the effort to dye your hair platinum blonde to match hers, like, keep it out a bit so that I don't know, it was, like, almost hidden by being slicked back, so I was like, that's a lot of
totally.
effort to, like, not really see your hair.
I mean, like, Kim Kardashian is obviously a fashion icon. I'm not trying to, like, rip her down. I sometimes I honestly feel bad for her that she feels like she needs to do all of these things to please people.
Yeah. Yeah, she just does all this crazy stuff sometimes. I feel like I go back and forth with her because, like, I very much enjoy watching the Kardashian shows,
Agreed.
like,
Yeah.
not afraid to say it. I find it highly entertaining
Yep.
and often very soothing to watch because 'cause I'm like, their problems are just, like, so different than mine that this is, like, very
And
entertaining.
their voices are so, like,
Their
calm and
yeah,
LA.
their
Love that.
voices are so monotone and calming, and then so I really enjoy that, and I do enjoy some of the products that all of them sell,
Yeah,
and I
big
like
Skims fan over here.
Right, I'm like, "I like this stuff." So I'm just like, I can't really totally hate on them because, like, I like some of their stuff, and I feel pretty confident that they're probably actually nice people, like, if you
Yeah.
knew them and whatever, like, I'm sure they're, like, great people, like, I'm sure they're
Sure,
fine.
they're lovely.
But I also think that sometimes their ignorance or their privilege just, like, really shows, and I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes they handle situations in a way that it's just like, you really need to, like, consider what's going on around you, and something like Kim's statement about how people don't wanna work anymore,
Yeah,
or
God,
her, like, losing 16 pounds in 3 weeks to fit into a dress for this, like, exorbitant event are just, like, so unrelatable that it's like, what world are you living in?
totally.
So, I don't wanna, like, hate on them too much because 'cause I'm like, "They're people, live your lives, you've done your stuff." But at the same time, it's just like sometimes their lack of self-awareness or just, like, the awareness of, like, how different their situation is from the majority of people is like, "Well, guys, you need, like, a little bit of a reality
Yeah.
check."
I feel like for her on, like, a personal human level, I feel bad for her that she has, like, the weight of impressing people on her shoulders, and that
Yeah.
really drives her life.
Mhm.
And I also, like, if you as an individual wanna lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks, like, who am I to tell you what to do with your body?
Yeah.
Do I think it's a good idea? No. But, like, it's not my job. But to then share that with the world and make it seem like that's a normal thing that anybody should be doing or a healthy thing that anybody should be doing or that that's achievable for people, I
Yeah.
think is dangerous
Mhm.
because I think it just sends a million wrong messages. I also think too, like she posted after the Met Gala, like in her hotel room, she had like 10 boxes of pizza and like 10 boxes of donuts, being like, I can finally eat this. Like, haven't eaten carbs or sugar in weeks. I'm like, this is just so like, I hope that that's not what you're really doing. Like, I hope that you're just being over dramatic. I don't know. Like, because what the behavior that you're exhibiting is very dangerous. Like what it looks
Mhm.
like you're doing is binging. And like what this looks like is like disordered eating. Once again, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a doctor. Like I'm not trying to say that I know what's happening. I'm just like all of this looks really unhealthy and also looks like you must be living an unhappy day to day. Like you must really be suffering day to day if you are trying to lose that much weight that fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unfortunate because there are a lot of things that I actually do like about the Kardashians. I like their products. I
Mhm.
think they're funny. Like,
I think they don't take themselves
um,
too seriously, and I appreciate that about them and their, like,
yeah,
willingness to be transparent about a lot of stuff, which I, like, appreciate, and I do think that they do a lot of good things, and I think it's like, people like to tease Kim for, like, going to law school or not law school, but, like, studying law and should become a lawyer, and I'm like, "That's great if she wants to do that," and she's actually been able to channel her influence into actually freeing people from
mhm.
jail who were wrongfully imprisoned, like, that's amazing, like, that's great that she
Yeah, I'm bringing light to a topic that's like very
right, brings
important.
light to it and, like, actually chooses to make a difference and, like, effectively does so, so I'm like, there's a lot of good there, I just think that sometimes they just really need to, like, think about what
Yeah,
they're saying and how it affects other people and just, like, how their reality might just be so different from other people's and how their own experiences might actually have them, like you're saying, like, doing disordered thinking that they shouldn't really be putting on other people or, like, making it
right.
seem like it's normal.
Right, because 'cause I'm not trying to judge them if they have disordered eating habits, eating disorders, like, I'm not trying to make fun of that or make it sound like they're bad people for dealing with those issues. I think you have to be really careful when you have hundreds of millions of people following you, like, what you share in terms of, like, giving any sort of advice or, you know, sharing lifestyle habits like that. I just think it's so dangerous, and I
Yeah.
think about Chloe as well because this was Chloe's first Met, was very excited for her.
Was it her first?
It was her first Met,
Oh.
and she's never been invited before, and, like, that's so
Oh.
exciting, and I heard a lot of people talking about, like, "Chloe looks so great, she looked amazing," and, like, I thought she looked beautiful. I just once again, like, it makes me so sad to think about all the things that Chloe has gone through when it comes to her body and
Yeah.
all the things she's talked about and how she talks about like, on the show, she talked about how, like, they work out a million times a day because they eat, and I was like, I just
Yeah.
It's very dangerous, and it's hard because I understand the incredible pressure that they face from other
Right,
people.
they're so heavily scrutinized, I could
I mean,
understand why they're trying to strive for this, like,
totally. They're trying
thing,
to
but
strive for a reality that doesn't exist.
yeah.
I just think it's tough to then go back and put that on other people again, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, well, this was my workout routine for the Met. This was my, eating routine for the Met." It's like, let's not I don't know. Anywho, that was a long-winded rant, but it's like that's the tough thing specifically with the Kardashians, like seeing their Met Gala looks and then them going into like the details of all of the ways that they had to physically um like I'm trying to think of what the right word is, but like physically deprive themselves in whatever way that is for this one event. I think it's
Yeah.
like another way that I think it's important to talk about these things because it's like one event should not be so impactful that you have to go through those like sorts of means. So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
think it's really interesting. And it's like and that's why I think it's important to have these conversations too, to be like, actually, you know what? Like I don't want to be Kim Kardashian if it means I have to live that kind of a lifestyle or have that kind of a pressure. Like maybe we shouldn't be putting pressure on celebrities like that too. Anyway,
Mhm.
that's a tangent. I could go on about that forever.
So another recent thing in pop culture news was, at least today I saw that Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas were posting about their little baby, and they sort of revealed today, which people I don't think previously knew, that she was like in the NICU for quite a long time. I think they said like over 100 days. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
they
had no
clarified.
idea.
I didn't think they clarified why, but my guess is she looks really tiny. So my guess is she was maybe a preemie.
Well,
And so maybe she just
I do remember that when they announced the birth of their child, that they did say that that the baby came early. I did
oh, they
not take
did.
Yes, I did not take that to mean, like,
Super
so
early.
early yeah, that she was,
Yeah.
needed to be in the NICU. I thought it was like, "Oh, we thought," like I don't know, I guess I
She,
don't
like,
know
came
a
2 weeks
ton.
early or something, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about preemies, so I think I just thought it was like, "Oh, like, we weren't ready yet, like, she came a little early." I didn't know that it was like she came,
Super
months
early.
early, had to be in the NICU for,
Yeah.
over 3 months.
I know, that's gotta be so scary and intense, and just, like because you can't, like, always you can't, like, stay over all the time,
Yeah.
so it's like you have to go home and then, like, come back to see your baby, and that's just gotta be so sad and so hard, but I'm very happy for them and happy for her that she is home and doing well.
Yeah, and I also just it's kinda crazy too because, like, as celebrities, they live such, like, high profile lives, and to just not say anything about that also because I'm sure you're like, you don't wanna have to go through the ups and downs with, like, the entire world about
Right, because like,
that.
God forbid something happened and she didn't do okay. It's like they don't wanna have to give everybody an update every time something happens,
Right.
like, with her health. It's, like, better to just, like, not have to deal until everything's all set and good.
Yeah. But, like, it was a very sweet Mother's Day post, made me very happy for the both of them. I feel like it's just also always makes me chuckle because I know there's so many people out there who believe that, like, their marriage is a PR
I
stunt.
know. Why do people hate on them? I don't get it.
I really don't know. I think it's because their
Because of the
relationship
age
was
gap?
I think it might be the age gap and also the fact that their relationship was kind of fast. Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
they didn't date for a super long time before they got married,
Right.
and it might be because
I
Priyanka
know.
is older than Nick, and she was like, "I'm not playing around," like
Right, I thought it was probably because she was older. She was like, "Yeah, I'm not messing around, like, I have time, like, only so much time, like, let's get it going," you
yeah,
know?
and she was like, "If you wanna date me, no, I'm, like, dating for marriage," kind of a vibe.
Yeah, yeah,
I also think that Nick Jonas gives off, like, old man energy.
ye
Um, Priyanka is by no means an old woman, but, like, he, to me, just, like, gives off, like, "I think I'm older than I am" vibe, so maybe he was
mhm.
also, like, ready to get married younger.
Yeah,
Also, his
yeah,
brothers were married. Well, actually, no, Joe wasn't married yet, but, like, they were all booed up, you know?
mhm. Wait, didn't Joe get married before them?
No, he got married after.
Really?
Mhm.
No, you're right. Nick and Priyanka got married in 2018, and then Joe and Sophie got married in 2019.
Yeah, I think they got married in, like, December.
Yep, you're so right. I don't know why I thought it was the other way around.
I think that Joe and Sophie got engaged first.
Yeah, I think they were engaged for a while.
Um, I think Nick and Priyanka are just like, let's get to it.
Yep.
But it's kind of crazy because their baby and Joe and Sophie's baby are going to be like pretty close in age.
Yeah, because she's pregnant again with the second baby. And yeah, they'll probably be like around the same age.
I can't tell you what I would give to babysit those children.
The Jonas cousins.
Ugh, a dream. Maybe one day we'll infiltrate. If you have not heard about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, I, you must be living under a rock. Like, no shade, but like, this is crazy. I want to know why they're televising it. I feel like no one really understands.
Yeah, why is it like live on television?
I don't know. It's like playing on YouTube. It's like YouTube streaming.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it on like a network or is it just like there's people in there who are just like reporting on it because they're famous? Like, I'm sure the courtroom is public. So maybe there's just people in there who just go and record.
No, but it's like being professionally filmed.
Interesting.
It's not like someone's phone that's just like streaming it on YouTube.
Hmm.
It's crazy to me. But for those of you who don't know, this case, I don't know exactly when it started, but basically Johnny Depp and Amber Heard got
We're married.
married. I think in 2015. That date could be wrong, but they got married and quickly divorced. I think they got like married in 2015, divorced in 2016. And then Amber Heard wrote like an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal, I believe. Either the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post. Sorry that my details are a little fuzzy. But she wrote an op-ed about like her experience with abuse. Like she never named Johnny Depp specifically, but it was like very clear to everyone that that's who she was talking about. So Johnny Depp is actually suing her for, I believe,
Defamation.
for $50 million for defamation. And this trial is like a 5 to 6 week long trial. It's insane.
That's actually a very long trial.
Yeah, it's super long.
A lot of trials are like a couple days.
Yes. So it's a crazy long trial and there's like a bunch of witnesses and um so Johnny Depp went first and he was like Rebecca, what's the proper term for that when he's like on the stand first?
He was testifying.
Yeah, so he testified first.
Yeah, and because he filed the lawsuit, so like he's like the plaintiff. So usually
Yes.
like plaintiff goes first, and
Which
then
it's so interesting because I feel like in this situation it's like Johnny's supposed to be the one, like he's defending himself, so it's like kind of funny that he's not on the defense, like he's the prosecution. Um, but it's just very interesting because prior to the trial going live or like happening, I feel like everyone was kind of on the side of Amber Heard, being like she, because Johnny Depp I feel like is known as being kind of odd. So I think
yeah.
when she said that, people believed her.
Well, yeah, I feel like it came about at a time where like Me Too
Hmm.
is like very popular. Like all these things are happening. We're learning about all these different abuses by different men in power, both in Hollywood and like in other industries. And then she comes out with this story, and there were a lot of people who were like, believe women, believe her, like Johnny Depp could be weird. We just don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Like, and there was a lot of stuff like he was investigated by like a bunch of movies that he was on to be like, do we need to drop him or
Yep.
not? Like for the Fantastic Beasts movie and like other projects. Apparently, Disney dropped him from what was going to be like another Pirates of the Caribbean movie, like all this stuff. Although I do think that there were several people in Johnny Depp's like circles who from the beginning were like, no, this isn't true. Like all of
Yes.
his other exes were like, no, he's never abused us. He
Yeah, they were like,
wouldn't
we've
do
never
that.
had this experience with him.
Yeah, and then I think there were some other people that he had, like, worked with or were close with who also said, like, "No, this isn't
Also,
true,"
his
but then
daughter was like, I've never
yeah.
seen him harm anyone. Like, he does not exhibit this behavior kind of thing. But he did lose the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I think that's
Mhm.
one of the main reasons why he's suing is because obviously, like, that was his franchise. Like,
Right, and he's also the face of that franchise, and there's, like, a
yes.
Pirates of the Caribbean ride and merch and all sorts of other stuff, and I feel like it's probably a big deal if they have to remove him from everything.
Yes. And like, he hasn't been in any movies since then. Like,
Yeah.
he's kind of yeah, persona non grata, is that the proper term? Like,
Mhm.
no one really wants to work with him. I think Amber Heard also, like, dealt with some issues from this as well, like, some people, I think people didn't know if they wanted to have her in Aquaman or not, um, but she was in Aquaman, she's supposed to be in Aquaman too, but anywho, so throughout this case, it's like I have not watched all of it, I've watched parts of it, I've seen a lot of clips, I've seen a lot of TikToks, like, it just seems more and more like all of her claims are just not based in facts. Like they can't nothing has been proven. It's all very much just like and it's hard because I am definitely someone who believes women and like when a woman says like this has happened to me, my instinct is to believe her. And so it's
Mhm.
been very interesting seeing the like public opinion really sway towards Johnny Depp because a lot of the things that Amber's saying do not add up at all. Like I remember there was one specific thing where she said that she always carried the specific like color corrector by like Milani Cosmetics in her purse so that when she, had bruises, she would use that palette to cover up the things on her face. And like there was a whole TikTok that came out about how that palette what like wasn't in production or like wasn't
Like, it
sold.
hadn't come out yet.
Yeah. At like the time she was saying that she used it. Like all these just like weird things that never added up. There's also the whole thing about the poop on the bed.
Yeah, so I haven't been watching because I find it just, like, stressful,
Yeah.
and so I haven't been watching, but I do sometimes see things come up on my TikToks, and from what I've gotten from the TikToks that come across my For You page is that a lot of people are team Johnny Depp, but yeah, there's something about poop on the bed, and I just, like, don't know what this is about whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, so Johnny Depp says that Amber Heard pooped on his side of the bed.
Just, like, intentionally what out of, like, spite?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
As like a, you know,
that's a choice.
toxic, you know, thing to do, and she's like, "No, it was the dog that did that." And
Mm.
so the reason that this is, like, blowing up is because it's just, like, insane, and also, like, they have, like a mini Yorkie.
Yeah,
Like, they
so,
have, like,
like,
a
the sizes
really
would be really
small
different.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just, like it's just crazy, crazy craziness, and I'm very curious to hear what other people have to say. To me, it sounds like this was an insanely toxic relationship.
Yeah, I feel like that's all I've gotten from it. Like, the gist I'm getting is just like, this was a super dysfunctional and unhealthy relationship, and I don't know enough because I haven't been paying a close enough attention to know what's going on or who's to be more believed or whatever, but I'm just like, it all sounds messy, messy, messy.
Yeah, and I think people were also saying, like, in Johnny's testimony, it sounded very much like he came off well, and then
Mhm.
now it's her turn, and everyone was like, "Okay, like, what's gonna happen? Is, like, the opinion gonna sway, now that
Right
she's
now that she gets her
speaking?"
chance,
And it's
yeah.
like, no, it's going even further in his direction because
Really.
her testimonies, like, don't make any sense. They're l People should look this up on TikTok, like, people are using a lot of her sound like, the sounds of her testimony because
Yeah.
it's crazy, like, there was one thing she said where she was like, "He hit me, and then I turned to look at or he slapped me across the face, and then I turned to look at him." And people were like, "That doesn't make any sense. Like, if he slapped you across the face, why are you then turning around to look at him? Like,
Yeah.
you would be facing him." Like, just weird things like this. Or she was like, "I was on the couch, and then I'm on the floor, and then I'm on the couch again." And then people are like, "Wait, none of this makes any sense." Like, just like her recounting of things are very
Yeah.
disjointed, and people are very much like she's putting on a performance. Like she keeps doing all these things where Johnny Depp wears something and then the next day she wears like the same outfit.
Interesting.
Or like she wasn't wearing any glasses and Johnny Depp has glasses and now she's wearing glasses.
Yeah.
It's just really weird.
Yeah, I'm like, it all sounds so just like so messy. I feel like I often deal with domestic violence cases for some of my pro bono work, and I try to be like very cognizant because what I've learned from like I am certainly no expert from my brief experience with it is that a lot of abusers can be abusive, but then be incredibly charming
Mhm.
to everybody else
Totally.
and can be like totally different people. So, like, one person sees this one awful side of them, and then everybody else sees such a likable, charming, charismatic person. So, I always try to keep that in mind, like, mostly in just like my own life when I, come across situations where a person says that someone was awful to them, but everyone else is like, no, he's such a good guy. Like, oh, he's so fun. I've never had a bad time with him. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not the one who's been in this. Like he would be charming to you because why wouldn't he? You
Right.
know, um, so I always try and keep that in mind. And I always also try to keep in mind that a lot of times victims of extreme abuse, the trauma can really mess up their memory. I've like
Mm.
had to deal with clients who cannot keep their timeline straight and can't remember certain details because especially if abuse in other people's situations, I don't think in this situation, but in other people's situation, it can go on for years and years and years. And so think
Right.
you start to confuse when something happened in time versus other things. And it can just make your memory so foggy. And I think that's part of the reason it gets so hard for victims of abuse to actually get stuff properly, like to get people to believe them and to get things properly handled because it's like they come off unreliable or uncredible
Right.
because they just can't get it straight, and then their partner has the benefit of being super charismatic and not carrying this trauma, so their memory is impeccable and they come off more believable and put together. And so I always try to be just super cognizant of that dynamic that exists in those kinds of relationships because it always hurts the victim more because they just have to work against so many other things that the abuser doesn't have to work against when
Totally.
showing why they should be believed. And I, as I said, do not know nearly enough about the Depp Heard case to know if that dynamic exists at all because it's also very possible that we got a Gone Girl situation where she's just making up who knows what to make him look bad and wants to protect her own reputation or whatever. Like, I just do not know enough, but I just, when I start to hear about a story, I always start from like that place of just like being in an experience where I see how hard it is and what power imbalances exist in an
Mhm.
abusive relationship. And so again, I just don't know enough, but I'm like, I can also see how it's like a person could come off super charming and the other person could come off crazy or inconsistent. And it could be from real reasons, but also that's what makes it so hard because it's like it could be that, or it could be she's lying out of her ass completely, and
Yep.
he's like, "What are you doing?" And like you're making insane claims that are affecting the rest of my life and my family and my ability to work all over something that wasn't real or whatever. So I don't
Totally.
know enough, but I
It's
just
all
I just
yeah.
wanted to offer that other perspective as well,
No,
just
it's good to
because
remember because it's
I think
crazy,
about
and
that.
also too of like when you're dealing with a case, it's like right now it's like very much a like the court of public opinion that's really
And
being
also, it's like
swayed because it's
that's
live.
it's live, and it's like that's literally what defamation is. Like, he's worried about his public reputation, so he wants all this to be
Right.
public because it's like, check it out, guys. Like, you're the ones who affect my career and my ability to be hired. And if you all decide like I'm right and this is okay, like that affects his life.
Right, but it's, like, good to consider all things when that's when you're really just hearing what other people are now interpreting from this case.
Mhm.
One other thing that I just remembered that I thought was really interesting was they did interview Amber Heard's former assistant, executive assistant,
Mhm.
who very clearly hates Amber Heard
Oh,
and was
yikes.
talking about how she was, like, horribly paid by her. She was paid, like, $25 an hour to run Amber Heard's life. Like, she was listing out all of the things that she had to do for her, and then she was like, "And then I finally got her to agree to pay me $50,000 a year after having, like, a meltdown about me asking." And then they asked her, like, if Amber Heard ever said anything about Johnny Depp, like, hurting her or, like, getting into arguments or anything, and she was like, "No." She said that she does remember, like, Amber texting her a couple times about, like, being in a like, having an argument or something, but also it's, like, important to note that, of course, not everyone is just gonna, like, share if they're being abused. Like,
Right,
they're not gonna
super
just, like,
intimate details, yeah.
but I think it's, like, an important perspective too because especially as with, like, being a celebrity, when you have an executive assistant, like, they're very integrated into your life, you
Mhm.
know? Like, they're very much, like, booking appointments, like,
Right,
booking
with you quite a
travel
lot.
with you quite a lot, like, see you all the time, so, I don't know, very interesting, very, like, upsetting. There's no in no way is
Right, it's, like, bad for all parties,
yeah, it's
but
bad, and, like, it is there are some, like, funny TikToks out there that, it's like you don't wanna make light of a bad situation. It's just, like, crazy to think about, like, is this person just lying? Because it's weird. It's like,
right,
in one way, you're like, "I don't want her to be lying because that's insane," but you're also like, "I also don't want her to have been abused."
right.
So, it's just a lose-lose.
It's a real lose-lose situation.
Anywho, tell us on Instagram what you think.
Yeah. If you're more informed than me, let me know what I'm missing. Tell me
Tell
what's
us the
going on.
deets. Tell us the deets.
Okay, so another big topic,
A happier
a
topic.
happier and much more fun topic is what the heck is going on with Taylor Swift? If you didn't notice, at the end of last week on her official store, she dropped a bunch of new merch that are related to Speak Now and 1989. And last Friday, she dropped a Taylor's version of the song This Love, which is from 1989.
Yep.
So the Swifties are a buzz. It's
They
like,
are
is she
buzz.
dropping 1989? Is she dropping Speak Now? Is she dropping both?
Both.
And if so, when?
Everyone thinks it's gonna happen on this Friday or this coming Friday because it's gonna be Friday the 13th, and Taylor Swift loves the number 13. People
Mhm.
also think it could be happening because this is so silly, but her Instagram grid is, like, aligned. She did that thing where she used, like, 9 Instagram photos to make one giant photo for
Mhm.
Evermore and Folklore, and
Yep.
right now they are lined up,
So that she could do that again.
so she can do it again. That's what people are
Mm.
thinking. Also, apparently, I heard some other, like, TikTok theories about how she left little nuggets, um, like, in the music video that she made for, I Bet You Think About Me. I guess
Hmm.
on the cake that was in that music video, the numbers 13 and 26 were on there, and it's been 26 weeks. Like, this coming
Oh
Friday
my
will be
god.
26 weeks.
The depths of the levels are just so
Yeah,
much.
but it'll have been 26 weeks since that video came out, and it'll be the 13th. Plus something about how, like, those numbers
Like adding up or
add up,
whatever.
like 1, 3, 2, and 6. Does that add up to 13?
I don't know. 1, 3, 2, and 6.
I feel like that adds up to 12.
Yeah, I think that adds up to 12.
I don't know. S It was like the numbers on the cake, like, added up to 26 or something like that, added up to 13. Um, so that was another
I
theory.
also heard something about, so on her caption about This Love coming out, she wrote that it's coming out at midnight, and she wrote it all like the word midnight had a bunch of spaces in between each letter, and everyone was like, "Did she add a blank space?" And then it was like, "Oh, that's a reference to
Oh.
1989." I'm just like, people really dig deep. They really find
People
something in
dig so deep.
everything.
I love it, though. I love when other people find these things.
Yeah.
So
I'm
then
like,
we
I'm
have
not gonna take the time to look for them, but I want other people to tell me about it.
well, people were also saying that so Blake Lively, like, posted an Instagram a little while back that said, like, "Not a lot going on at the moment," and
And that's like Taylor's go-to line when
Taylor
she's got a
Swift
lot
did
going
that
on.
when she was doing I can't even remember which album it was. I don't know if it was Red or what it was, but people were saying then, like, Blake Lively at the Met was the Statue of Liberty, like, "Welcome to New York." Is that a sign that
Oh my god.
1989 is
She's getting
coming?
other people involved in her conspiracies.
Yeah. So,
I'm trying to decide if she was dropping one or the other, which one would you want more?
that's really hard. Okay, wait, sorry. Before I get to that, I just remembered one other thing that that people are thinking, uh she could be why she could be dropping both of them. Apparently, she said something about Shania Twain being, like, a legend because she, like, simultaneously did, like, pop and country at the same time, like, is the queen of both. And I
Mm.
guess back in the day, Shania Twain released a record. One side was the songs, like, done in like a pop style. The other side was the songs done in country,
Oh,
and now
and
people
Speak
are
Now is
saying
country and 1989 is
is
pop.
pop. Anywho, so but back to your original question, Speak Now is my favorite Taylor Swift album.
Mhm. It's got Dear John
Um,
on it, so
it's got Dear John on it, which is my favorite song of all time. I also love Speak Now because it's the only album. So I mean, she's written all of her songs, but Speak Now she wrote only by herself. No one else wrote those songs with her.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that's very interesting. People were also saying that maybe she released This Love because it's the only song in 1989 that she wrote like by herself completely. And Speak Now
Oh,
is written all only by her. So they're like, that's the tie. It's like crazy. Sometimes I'm afraid of how
her mind
smart
works.
Taylor Swift is. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy
there's
that
so
she
much
thinks
going
about that.
on.
What about you though? Which would you be more excited for?
I do love 1989, but I think I also gotta go Speak Now.
Ugh. And the merch.
Yeah. Also, Speak Now was the first album I saw her tour.
Me too. Yeah. We're there
And
together.
so, yeah, we were there together. So fond memories. And I just think there's some really iconic songs on that album. I also love 1989. It's like a total jam. And it makes me super nostalgic because it came out when I had just moved to New York. And so when her song like Welcome to New York came out, I would just like listen to that as I walked around my brand new city, and like she would just sing all this stuff about being in a new place and a new phase of your life, and like that's exactly where I was. So I just like find it so nostalgic for me moving to New York City and like living my New York lifestyle with my friends after college. So I love it deeply as well. But ugh,
I need her to go on tour so badly, and I want it on record that I came up with the idea of a Swiftival, okay?
yeah, she should have a festival and just play all her albums because we got a lot of content to get
Yeah,
through.
like Coachella, who cares? Swiftival. That's what I
Yeah.
wanna go to. A multi-day event with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, she just performs each day and she can just do like day 1, Lover, because she never got to tour it, day 2, Folklore, day 3, Evermore, and then sprinkle in some of the From the Vault songs from all her re-releases.
Yep, and I think that she could also have other artists
Yeah, well,
performing.
she has so many featured guests on her songs
Yep.
anyway.
Like, she could have, like, Selena Gomez perform. She
Haim,
could have Haim, she could have Phoebe Bridgers.
country
She
artists.
could have what's Aaron Decker's band?
Oh,
The National, The
The
National. I
National,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm looking it up and I'm like, The National, that's what it is. Like, the Bleachers, they could perform, like, all of these people
Mhm,
could perform at Swiftival.
mhm. The amount of money that I would be willing to pay to go to that.
I can't even express. It's so funny because I was thinking about this. I wanted to go see Olivia Rodrigo,
Oh, I
and
know,
her tickets
same.
are like $700, $800, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay that to see Olivia Rodrigo right now. She's gonna go on tour again. I
And
would
she
pay
also
that to see Taylor Swift.
oh, yeah, I would
Like,
pay
in a
that too,
heartbeat, I would
in a
pay
heartbeat.
$800 to see Taylor Swift perform all of these
It'd
songs.
be worth it. Olivia Rodrigo, love her so much, but I'm also like, she only has the one album, so she has like 10 songs to sing. So I'm like, I'll save that money for when she has like multiple albums, and I know
Yes,
her concert's gonna be like 2 hours long, you know?
yes. Like, I will see her perform Driver's License one of these days, you know? But, yeah, I can't pay $700 for it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, oh my god. Listen, if Taylor Swift releases 2 albums on Friday, someone check in on us. We're not gonna
Yeah,
be okay.
yeah. You won't hear from us for a while.
Yeah. Like, when she re-released Fearless, I was like, "Oh, so cool," like, excited about it. Listen to it. When she released Red, I was like, "I'm unwell." I love this
Yeah.
album so much. I'm so obsessed with the Vault songs, like, I listen to
Mhm.
them constantly. If she re-releases Speak Now, like, I'm not like, I can't even wrap my head around what's gonna happen to me.
I know, and if she drops them both at the same time,
The
I'm like,
same
on the one
time?
hand, I'm like, I want it because I want all of it, but on the other hand, I kinda want them separate because I'm like, I want to, like, fully appreciate each era. I'm like, I wanna take my time with my, like, speak now country vibes,
Uh-huh.
and then I wanna have my, like, 1989 moment, but if
I'm
she gets
also
us both, I mean, obviously, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm never gonna complain. I also
Yeah.
wonder if she's doing it so that she can also get back to doing new
New
music.
stuff. She's like, "I gotta crank it out so I can get back to the new stuff."
Yeah. Also, because like, if she is gonna tour it, she needs to, like, get
Get
that
on it.
done.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Listeners, let us know if you've heard these conspiracy theories, what you think. If you have new theories that we haven't put out there, what your thoughts are. Which album are you most excited for? What do you think is happening?
Definitely head over to our Instagram if you have thoughts on this release at all. Also, let us know if you want to hear like some live reactions or some
Mhm.
more like in the moment reactions on our Instagram stories or on TikTok. We could finally get that TikTok going.
I know.
Um, Definitely let us know because we're super up for doing that.
Yeah. Once she releases whatever she's gonna release, let us know if you want content on what our thoughts are, because I'm sure we will have a lot.
Yep. And so those were kind of our biggest topics for today. One other thing that's still on our mind is Rebecca and I are both big Marvel people.
Mhm.
If you're not, that's okay, but like I do think you're missing out, so I would give it a shot. The new Doctor Strange movie came out, so we will both be seeing that. I basically went to the premiere because I saw Elizabeth Olsen live this past weekend.
Live and in the flesh.
Not actually, but I was, as I've mentioned, I live in San Francisco. I was in wine country this weekend, living my best life. And I went into a restaurant and she was literally walking out of the restaurant. And I was staring at her so hardcore. It was like a combo of when you have that experience of like, have I seen, like, do I know you?
You're
Like, it
like,
was one of
yeah,
those things.
she
I'm
looks
like, do I know
familiar, and you're
you?
like, yeah.
Like, how do I know you? And then it was like, wait, okay, you're a celebrity. Is that really you? Like,
Right.
I
Could
was
it
like,
be?
I've never seen you in anything other than, like, my television, so I'm like, Is that who I'm looking at?" And then I kept looking away and kept looking back because I was, like, not trying to be rude, just, like, staring at a person, but I was like, "I definitely that's definitely her," and I'm, like, staring at her, and then I'm also, like, looking around, like, "Does no one else realize that this is Elizabeth Olsen?" Anywho, and then I sat down and I was like, started talking to my boyfriend's parents, but like, that was Elizabeth Olsen. Like, that's Wanda from like WandaVision from like the Avengers. And I could see the hostess like made a little smile because like this girl's
She
like my
definitely
age.
knew too,
This
yeah.
girl's my age. She also knows who Elizabeth Olsen is. That was crazy. That was like my first celebrity sighting in a very long time.
I love her. And I'm just like, she must be, I mean, she's always hilarious in, like, interviews, and when she used to have, Instagram, I think she got rid of it, but she just seems so funny, but I just think about how she's the younger sister of Mary-Kate and Ashley, and I'm like, "What must her life and her childhood have been like?" Like, she
Yeah.
must know so many of their, like, secrets and what they get up to. I'm like,
And
"Well,
like
your
hangs
life
out
must be
with
so
them.
interesting."
Also, did you know that they have like many other siblings? I think they have three other siblings.
Yeah,
I think
but you
there's
just don't
two
hear about them.
brothers and another sister.
Yeah,
Those
so
Olsons really
wild.
cranking out babies left and
And they're
right.
all so beautiful.
Yeah, she
Oh,
was
she's
stunning in person, by the
gorgeous.
way. Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
She was, like, small, like, short, like, I don't know, she just I was it's one of those things again too where it's like you're such
You,
a
like, expect them to be like a giant.
yeah, where she's just such a like, a big presence because she's, like, a celebrity that then when you see
Mhm.
someone in real life and you're like, "Oh, you're just like a normal person." It was also funny too because like, I she just, like, walked out of the restaurant with her husband, like, there was no one was looking at them, there was no spectacle, there was no nothing, like, it was like a normal person walking to their car, and that's why I was like, "Is that you?" It was so
Wanda?
weird. Yeah, I obviously, like, didn't say anything because 1, I couldn't tell if I was crazy or not, and 2, like, what was I gonna say? Like, "Love your work?" I always think of that scene in Mean Girls when she just goes, "Danny DeVito, I love your work." That's,
Yeah.
like, me like, if I was ever to see a celebrity, that's, like, all I wanna say. "Love your work." Um, but anyhow, so, yeah, can't wait to see that movie.
Yeah, I'm
Can't wait
excited.
hopefully, I see another celebrity soon. I was so upset I didn't see Priyanka Chopra when she was here in San Francisco for the Matrix premiere.
I'm still mad that Tom Holland and Zendaya have been walking around in Boston, like, on and off for weeks, and I have yet to see them.
Yeah.
But I also, like, I don't even know what I would do if I came across them, because I would be so freaking excited, but I'd also wanna be like, "Play it cool, don't be rude, don't
I'm like
overwhelm them, like, don't go up to them," but I'd be like, "Oh my
would I pee my
god."
pants? Like
Like, no.
like, would I be so excited I would just, like, pee my pants?
I would probably stare at them so unabashedly. They'd be like, "What
My
the
jaw would
heck
be
is this
on the
girl's
ground.
problem?" I know.
It's like this combination of, like, seeing people that you love so deeply, but also not wanting to make them feel uncomfortable or embarrass them at all, that you
Right,
just,
because
like,
you're like, they
stand
have
there.
no idea who you are, but you feel like you know them because you love them and you see them on your TV, and I'm just like, "Oh,
Yep.
maybe one day I'll come across them," but that hasn't happened yet.
Maybe if, like, Zendaya or Tom Holland ever listen to this podcast, they'll, like, reach out.
If that day comes, we're
Yeah,
available.
I will be available at any day or time, okay?
Name the date and time, we're there.
I will fly to Milan like Tom did for that date, okay?
Oh, love him. He was written by a woman. He's not real.
I love that phrase.
Have you heard that?
No, I
Oh my
love
god, it's like
that.
one of my favorite phrases when you like people say that about like Anthony and Bridgerton too. When it's like when you come across a guy who's just like so wonderful, it's like you're reading him from a book. You're like, oh, he was written by a woman. Like, how is he real?
That's so accurate.
Tom
It's like, yeah,
Holland,
it's like
written
Mr.
by a woman.
Darcy, like, yeah, written by a woman.
Yeah,
Literally,
exactly.
literally written by a woman.
Like, what man have you met in real life that really acted like that if they weren't a book character written by a woman?
Oh my god. I love that phrase so much. That does perfectly describe Tom Holland. He is everything and more. All right, well, let us know if you liked us talking just about pop culture, celebs, what's going on in I was like in the news, but like this is not what's going on in the news. This is like what's going on and like, yeah, e-news.
Yes.
So, but let us know if you like this kind of stuff. We're happy to talk about it more. Um, we're really excited for our episode next week. I'm not gonna like give anything away, but like we're really excited about it. So make sure you tune in again next week. And we can't wait to chat with you on our next episode of Sisterly.